Johnny Depp, jo, na to se ještě dneska podíváme. Chci se podívat na to, jak mluvil o tom, že mu Amber se vystrala do postele, protože to... to je prostě, to je věc, kterou nevymyslíš, jo, to prostě. Jo, no co se soudí, hele, když tak mě opravte, jo, ale pokud já vím, tak ono to nějak začalo tím, že ona ho obvinila z toho, že jakože, že jí mlátil doma a potom The Sun, že jo, ten deník, já nevím, jestli to je britský, americký, teď nevím, tak ho označil jako wife beatera a potom, co ten článek vyšel, tak on dostal brutální cancel, jo? Prostě musel odstoupit z té role, že jo, z fantastických zvířat, proto ho nahradil Matt Mikkelsen teďka v tom 3. díle, kde hrál Grindelwalda, zároveň ho Disney odstřihlo a tak dále, prostě doslova byl na blacklistu, jo, úplně cancelnutý. Třeba ten... že jo, festival ve Varech, který byl, ten ho naopak jakoby vzal, že jo, minulý rok na podzim a prostě přijali ho, kde Dior mu smlouvu nechal. Já vím. Naopak, jako je v Karlových Varech, víš co, v Česku žádná cancel culture. Doslova, který lidi v Česku dostali kdy cancel? Ferry, vole. Maximálně něco blízko tomu byl Láďa Sinaj minulý rok, jo. Ale kámo, kromě Ferryho, tady reálně mají všichni všechno jo, tady prostě člověk řekne N-word a Češi, no a co? Prostě člověk řekne N-word někde v televizi, no a co? Prostě co, nikoho to nezajímá, víš co, Češi to mají úplně v prdeli tady, jo? Když říkal Disney, no, jo? Když já jsem říkal Disney, jo? Prostě jediný Ferry tady dostal cancel za celou historii, co já si pamatuju, jo? Právě proto, že on říkal, že děkuje, že jo, ve Varech, že jo, protože to byl jako první snad jako festival, kde oni ho nějak vzali a tak dále. Teďka on naopak soudí jí zpátky, ale hele, jo, možná to míchám dohromady, nejsem si úplně jistý, jak to přesně je. On jí soudí zpátky za pomluvu, já nevím, nějakou urážku, nadstí a nějaké jakhle a chce po ní, myslím, $50 milionů a ona zase žaluje jeho zpátky, že jí osočil z toho, že lže, nebo něco takového a žaluje ho za o $100 milionů, OK? Jo, to je úplně prostě bizární jako situace tady z toho, jo? Jenom ještě bych to připomněl, jo? $50 milionů je přes miliardu českých korun, jo? Jenom abych jako zdůraznil to, kolik to je peněz, jo? Jako docela hodně. A přímo potom, co že jo, odstřihlo i Disney z Pirátů, že doslova jako celá série Pirátů z Karibiku stála na Deppovi, tak on teďka, že jo, jak probíhá ten soud, tak přímo řekl, že nic na světě ho nepřinutí k tomu, aby se do té role vrátil za to, jak s ním zacházeli, že jo, jako Disney. Jo, takže to je jakoby ta smutná část toho, protože je za to, že ona jakoby ta série už je v podstatě, bych řekl, uzavřená, jo, on každý další díl už je spíš jako na sílu, ale řekl, že ani kdyby mu nabídli $300 milionů, tak už prostě tam nepůjde. Ona má nahrabáno, když točila Snyder's Cut a teď dělá na novém Aquamanovi. Hele, to není o, já si myslím, že to je přímo o těch penězích, jo, tam jde o to, že on ti to jako ukončí kariéru, když prohráš ten soud. Jakoby to, že se na ní nalíkovalo hrozně moc věcí a tak dále, tak jako, víš co, doslova Johnny Depp dostal absolutní cancel a ona dál dělá filmy a prostě nikoho to nesere. To je prostě jako extrém, jo, přímo tam jsou prostě důkazy na to, jak ona na něj řvala, mlátilo, blablabla a prostě je to žena, tak u tý to nevadí, víš co, to je prostě. Reálně ten soud, než o prachách, je o tom, aby se dokázal, že on není wife beater a očistil si jméno, že jo, to je, bych řekl, jako celá myšlenka soudu, ty prachy jsou jako bokem pro tyhle lidi, že jo, tyhle lidi vydělají $50 milionů za film nebo za 2, že jo, to prostě. Její net worth je $8 milionů, tak pro ní to asi něco je, no to doufám, vole. Čet, koukám na video, který má 2 zhlédnutí, zajisté, kvůli tam nebude něco jakože sníknutýho, abych za to dostal ban, OK? 100% to video bude úplně v pořádku.
You did. Okay. Did I read that right?
Dobrý, ale já to chci vidět, já nevím, co si přečetl right. Kde to je? Už tak potichu. Jsi docela horší než moje mladá, lul, na všechno si stěžuješ, lul. Já se jenom snažím najít video. Si stěžuju na všechno, nejsem jak to je mladá, snažím se najít jenom video, který je potichu.
Here we go. So Mr. Depp, on September 6th, 2013, you send Miss Heard a text that says, "Thank you for your letter. I love you."
Yes,
Scroll
that's
down.
correct.
She writes, "Thank you for mine." Did I read that right?
You did.
And then you write, "The only reason we go for the throat is love." Did I read that right?
You did.
And then she writes, "My throat is yours. You're going to be the death of me, but I don't care. And then you write, I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury. I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury.
Sorry, could you read that again?
These are your words, sir, right? I read that right, correct?
You did. Okay.
You can take that down.
OK, jak jsou ty... Jo, sorry, teď já to musím hlavně stlumit, jinak přijdete o uši.
Richards. I started this channel to share funny moments and wisdom from my favorite lawyers. I want to hear lawyer commentary. Anyone also cool with that should subscribe to my channel for more.
The only reason we go for the throat is love. Did I read that?
Oh, that's
right?
why they wanted it in.
You did.
Okay.
And then she writes, my throat is yours.
Which shows that they're
You're
understanding.
going to be the death of me, but I don't care.
Is this good for her?
And then you write, I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury. I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury.
Sorry, could you read that again?
These are your words, sir, right? You read that right, correct?
You did. Okay.
You can take that down.
Can you read that again?
To má hrozně
My throat
prdeli,
is
co?
yours. Oh, I have other
Can you
uses
pull up
for your
exhibit
throat.
483?
He's trying not to laugh. That's funny. Look, we've talked about poop, pieces on paintings, and now we've gotten to
Dobrý, a teď mě ale zajímá to s tím hovnem na posteli. Tak, jsou tam titulky asi ne, že jo? Jenom vytvořil automaticky, já vám to pustím, třeba tam bude něco jako rozumně přeloženýho, tak pojď.
I literally just got into bed. I remember the television was on, and I was reading, and I suppose Miss Heard was down in her area, taking off her makeup and changing into sleep clothes, whatever, and she entered the bedroom while I was laying on my side of the bed, reading, and she was still rattling off all the wrongs I'd done to her in that particular day, and how unreliable I am, and what a horrible person I was, and I did not engage verbally, nothing. I sat there or laid there reading my book, and when she didn't get a jump out of me or a jolt out of me, she got out of bed, she walked around the bed, she came to my side, and again, you've got a person who is throwing multiple shots at your face, at your head, at your neck, at anything she could hit. So I got up out of bed, and I grabbed her by the shoulders, and I sat her down on the bed. And I said, I'm leaving. Please don't get off the bed. Please don't follow me. Please don't try and stop me. I'm leaving. And she got up off the bed, and she squared off at me in the doorway of our bedroom. And I said, what do you want to do? Hit me again? Would you like to hit me again? And I said, go ahead, hit me. Bam. And then I just said, is that what you wanted? Would you like another? Bam. There's the second one. And I said, good. now you're done. Grabbed her by the shoulders, walked her to the bed, sat her down, and said, don't follow me. Leave me alone. I'm out. I'm gone. I went, I grabbed a few things, and I got out immediately, and I went to my other house on Sweetser. As Ms. Heard she was leaving the following day for Coachella, which is Coachella is like it's a big event, a concert, you know, many bands, and yeah, out in the desert. She and her friends were going to Coachella for the weekend, and that was it. That was it.
Mr. Depp, after April 21st, 2016, when was the next time that you actually saw Miss Heard?
Tomu nevěřím ani hovno, kdo si nechá dát 2 bomby a bude v klidu. Když sám Maťo mluvil o tom, jak na něj vyjela ta jeho ex, která ho bodla nožem do ruky a nechal jí bejt a nenatáhnul jí. Dost asi pamatuje, jak tady jsi to říkal. Jo, prostě to jako neznamená, že tý holce automaticky musíš natáhnout zpátky, vole, prostě jako, hele, já samozřejmě nevím, jak to máš nastavený ty, že jo, jako asi nejsi úplně v klidu, ale jako neznamená to, že jí fláknej zpátky, že jo.
I left Miss Heard, well, I left Penthouse 3. I left at 4:30 in the morning. It was actually her birthday. It was about 4:30 in the morning, April 22nd. And that's when I left. And from that moment on, I did not see Ms. Heard until May 21st.
And why was that?
No? Proč?
I had received some news that was as absurd and grotesque and cruel. And then I was shown a picture of what the problem was. I had gone to Mr. Bett and said, she's at Coachella. I think it's a good time to go downtown so that I can get some of my things, you know, and get them out of there, especially the things that were precious.
Se líbí, jak tady prostě ten poop emoji na tom videu, který má 2 miliony zhlédnutí.
To me, you know, children things from friends, Brando, Hunter, Thompson, whatever, things that were important to me. And he said, I don't think now's a good time to go. And I thought, it's the perfect time. She's not going to be home for 2 days. And then he showed me a photograph on his telephone of...
Objection, Your Honor. Also hearsay.
It's a photograph, Your Honor.
As being relayed to him by Mr. Bett.
He says he looked at it on his phone.
I'll overrule the objection as the photograph.
What was the photograph of, Mr. Depp?
It was a photograph of the bed, our bed, and on my side of the bed,
No.
was human fecal matter. So I understood why it wasn't a good time to go down there. My initial response to that was, I laughed. It was so outside. It was so bizarre and so grotesque that I could only laugh. So I did not go down there that day.
Ty vole. Ještě potom tam byl ten klip, jak se ptal, jestli je pravda, že Johnny Depp řekl, že chce vidět jí hnící mrtvu na zahradě a začal se tomu smát, vole, nebo něco takovýho. Či je to tohle, no? Myslím, že to je tohle, vole.
After you received your BFA, did you continue to pursue art full time?
Yeah.
Did Mr. Depp ever express an interest in your art?
Yeah.
When was the first time that happened?
Well, first time you saw a painting in 2008. And then the next time was 2012. I had made a painting and sent it to my best friend, email, in an email. And he forwarded it to Johnny, and Johnny emailed back saying, hey, when Isaac wants to sell that, whenever he wants to sell that, to go ahead and get in touch
On říkal,
with
že
me,
by si měl zjít Barbara. Jo, tak to já klidně udělám, víš co.
because I want to buy it.
Did Mr. Depp ever buy that painting?
No.
Why not?
Because when I brought over paintings, I had moved back to California, and I brought over a bunch of paintings for him to look at and see if he wants any, to buy any. And he looked at me and says, I got...
To není ono? Okay, tak počkej, tak kde jsou ty highlight, best moments, ano, chat, best moments se podíváme, tak schválně, jo, best moments, normálně, když hledáš nejvtipnější scény, takzvaně, jo, tak schválně. Ten soud už skončil? Ne, ještě neskončil právě. Každý den nová perlička.
It's a pretty simple yes or no question, which is
You'd like
other
it to be, sir. Nothing simple in this case. October is 2 months before December. That's correct.
the document that you signed as part of your divorce proceedings, correct?
That's my signature indeed, yeah.
That is your signature on the right, correct?
Yes, it is.
This is a document you signed, right?
For the third time, that is my signature, yes.
That was a document you signed in August 2016. Correct.
Is that the same one that I signed 3 times before? Yes.
I want to make clear that you signed that in the summer of Paul that day, correct?
Again.
Okay. So the Exhibit 500, please. 500? 500. That's Exhibit 500.
I'd like to see who I lied to.
Sometimes drink whiskey in the mornings too, right?
Isn't happy hour anytime?
Did you carry cocaine in that box?
No, but it looks like it would fit some. Just gave Marilyn Manson a pill so that he would stop talking so much.
That right.
You did.
Did I read that correctly?
You did.
Okay. Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
Did I read that right?
You continue to read them right, yes.
Right after you cut your finger off, right after, I won't give you anything to argue with me yet. Right after you sustained an injury to your finger,
Yeah.
right after you sustained an injury to your finger,
Does she?
poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint.
Yeah. Fast forward in time a little bit, Mr. Depp.
Yes, I can feel it.
I have other uses for your throat which do not include
Ježíš, jak tam dali ten smirk emoji, to co je.
injury. I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury.
Sorry, could you read that again?
You were drinking.
Were you there? Very ugly lovely situation with Amber. So
Mr.
I
Depp,
doubled up
with
the,
respect, trying to respect the court's time and the jury's time, that was not my question. My question was
I
simply,
understand when
you
you
would
take 5
agree,
minutes to look for a
you would agree,
document.
you would agree that objection calls for hearsay.
Let me ask you a different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one. Had a conversation with Ms. Heard. They have. Okay. It appears that Ms. Heard had told
Hearsay, Your Honor.
she would like for him to cook. That's hearsay, I guess.
I'm not interested in matters sort of.
He got it.
Okay, all right, well then.
I'm learning. Ms. Heard that
I'll move to strike this as hearsay, Your Honor.
disturbing. Yes, I looked at papers. Maybe they're hearsay papers. I can read it out of someone's article, but not from the man's mouth.
Jako, já bej ten právní, tak já hrozně brečím, ty vole, tady z toho. Či co to je? TikTok video. Já miluji TikTok videa na streamu, ukaž.
You're gonna see pictures. He writes on mirrors, horrible things to her. Writes on lampshades, on clothing, on countertops. In Australia, when you heard Ben talk about Australia, he wrote the third day as Amber comes out after she's barricaded herself and gone through a lot. I'll pick up on that in a minute. She comes out, he's got mashed potatoes spread across the top. He's written along the wall of the staircase going down all kinds of and instead what he does is he takes 8 to 10 tablets of ecstasy almost immediately. And the next 3 days are just a cycle of very, very, very activity. What does she do? She buys a book by a psychiatrist who's talking about couples therapy. Gets up and punches Johnny in the face. She'll tell you that's the only time she has ever laid one on him, and she said, she's almost half.
Kdo to je tady to? Kdo to je tady to? She almost always size. To co je?
Said, she's almost.
To je její právnička tady to, OK.
Half his size. So he, she said, if I pushed him, he doesn't move. He pushes me, I go flying across the room.
Flying across the room.
She tried everything. She tried everything. From trying to be nice, trying to get away from him. She would throw things in his way to get him from running after her. She would try to, flail back. She would use her hands and legs, and she would go and try to fight him. She'd run into her room and try to barricade and push his hands and everything out of there.
Jo, to je konec. Johnny mu je 58. Jo, je no. Je. On tak nevypadá, ale je mu docela dost. Či co mi posílal ten Tomáš tady v chatu? Čekaj, já to poskroluju.
Depp, this is a text message exchange that you had with Paul Bettany on June 11th, 2013, correct?
Yes. Correct.
Your Honor, permission to move for admission of redacted Defendant's Exhibit 178 and permission to publish, please.
We based off of Your Honor's ruling.
All right.
That's fine.
178 with redactions.
Paul Bettany. A to není, mluví o něm? Mluví o tom, co hrál Visiona a Jarvise? Nebo mluví o nějakým člověku, co se jmenuje úplně stejně?
Michelle, could you please blow up the first text at the top? In this text, Mr. Depp,
Kdo v tom zatím vypadá víc nevinně? No, tak jako, hele, oni se tam pošpinujou oba dva navzájem, jo? Určitě ten Depp nebude úplně 100% nevinnej, víš co, to, nebo jako nemyslím si to. Ale jako z těch výpovědí bych řekl, že jako celkově jak internet, tak jako většině lidí je asi jasný, kdo tam jako kecá míň, jo? Prostě to je jako Chtěl by to nějaký inside info. Hele, já čekám, až Petr zapne stream, protože nám řekne, že má nějaký kontakt, víš co, od člověka z Blizzardu, který teďka jako řeší právnické věci u Johnnyho Deppa, takže mu něco zjistí, jo, něco takového. Prostě člověk, co dělal právníka pro Blizzard, tak teďka dělá pro Johnnyho Deppa a řekne mu, jak to ve skutečnosti je. Něco takového to zjistíme, ještě Petr nám to poví.
Text, Mr. Bettany, let's burn Amber. 3 exclamation points, right? See that?
I do see that.
And at this time, June 11th, 2013, Amber is your girlfriend or perhaps even your fiance at this point, correct?
Girlfriend,
Yeah.
for sure.
And you didn't stop when you said let's burn it.
Jak máš dlouhý prst? Co? Normálně. Nějaký ohnutej, je křivej? Je křivej, ty vole, je křivej.
Because the next text down, you can move down and blow up the next text, please, Michelle. You say, let's drown her before we burn her. 3 exclamation points. Did I read that right?
Yes, it's referring to the
and you
text
didn't-
prior to.
You didn't
From Mr.
stop when you
Bettany.
said, let's drown her before we burn her. After that, you made another comment, and I'd like to apologize to the court and to the jury for some of the language that I'm going to have to use today, but unfortunately...
Můžeš mi jenom reálně říct, kde oni vezmou jako zprávy jeho z nějakýho, vole, z nějaký jako soukromý konverzace nebo tak. To jako kde vezmeš? To jako jim prolítly mobily se zprávama, nebo jako kde tady to brali? To jim dala Amber, no ale kde to jako vezme Amber? Soud si vyžádal zprávy? Jo, takhle, aha.
You're going to see a lot of documents with language like this. After you said,
To jim poslal Petr. Jo, aha. Ty na WhatsAppu nemáš historii, já nepoužívám WhatsApp.
let's drown her before we burn her, Mr. Depp, you said, I will fuck her burnt afterwards to make sure she is. That's what you said that you would do after you burned her and after you drowned her. Did I read that right?
You certainly did, yes.
And you wrote that about the
You certainly did.
woman who would later become your wife.
Yes, I did.
Can you pull up Exhibit 245, please? Your Honor, there's been no objection to this exhibit, and so I'd move for its admission and ask for permission to publish to the jury.
Give them a moment.
Your Honor, we have no objection to the portions that have Mr. Depp's text messages, but at the bottom portion, there is some from his daughter that we would ask be redacted.
The last two.
And, Your Honor, that's okay, but there was no objection to this
I
on the
understand, but
exhibit list.
they don't appear to be relevant, which
That's fine. We're happy to redact those. Thank you. Mr. Depp, the top text message, we're going to focus on a couple of these, but the top text message is a text from you.
Proč máš černé nechty? Mě fakt hrozně překvapuje, že se víc lidí zeptá na to, proč mám černý nechty, než na to, jdeme se podívat ty úvody, proč jsem měl na sobě tohle, proč vám připadá divný, že mám černý nechty a nepřipadá vám divný, že mám tohle. Může mi to někdo vysvětlit? Proč vás překvapují víc nechty, který jsem měl kvůli cosplay, než to, že jsem měl ty čelenku a mega úplay made outfit, ve kterém moje hlava vypadá, jak kdyby měla ty vole 3 metry, prostě jako poloměr. Jako vy už máte hrozně zničený ty standardy, prostě vám už nepřipadá divný to, že se vole, že mám růžový vlasy, ještě k tomu vole vybledlý, vole, vymytý a na to mám prostě made obleček, ve kterém jsem vole měl podkolenky. Ale počkej, to tam vidět, ne? Tam je vidět, ty jsem tam stál na začátku, že jo? Od tebe se dá víc čekat ten made outfit než nechty.
To Paul Bettany on May 30th, 2014, correct? Might need to scroll over, Michelle.
May 30th, 2014, yes.
And you recall that you testified yesterday about the flight that you took from Boston to Los Angeles on May 24th, 2014, right?
Yes.
You remember that? Okay.
Yes, I do.
And you testified yesterday that you didn't have any drinks before that flight, or maybe you had a glass of champagne or something.
Čet, já jdu čůrat, jo? Já jdu čůrat, já vám to zatím nechám puštěný a jdu se vyčůrat, dej to je vteřinku. Schválně se zasměju třeba ze záchodu, nebo tak. Kdy bude lolko, nebude, je to napsaný v titlu.
Given that testimony?
Yes, I believe I said I had glass of champagne on the plane.
Right. So in this text, if you could blow up, Michelle, please, that top text. On May 30th, 2014, you texted Mr. Bettany, just a little bit smaller. You texted Mr. Bettany, I'm going to properly stop the booze thing, darling. Drank all night before I picked Amber up to fly to LA this past Sunday. Ugly, mate. No food for days. Powders. Half a bottle of whiskey. 1,000 Red Bull and vodkas. Pills. 2 bottles of champers on plane. And what do you get? An angry aggro engine in a blackout. Screaming obscenities and insulting any who got near.
Čet, nebylo slyšet, jak jsem na záchodě, že ne?
I'm done. I am admittedly too ahead to spray my rage
Bylo?
at the one I love. Read that again. I'm admittedly too ahead to spray my rage.
Jsem nevěděl, že jsi byl na Comic Conu. Kámo, nevím, kde jste tuhle fotku vzali, ale nejsem to já. Přísahám, že tohle nejsem já. Nevím, kde jste to vzali, nevím, proč má ještě k tomu Discord tričko. Ale nejsem to já. Nejsem to já. Kámo, fakt to nejsem já. Nevím, co to je, nevím, kdo to je. Ano, vypadá to jako já, ano, vypadá to přesně jako já, ale nejsem to já. Nejsem to já. Tak, Johnnyho Deppa asi máme teďka zmáknutýho, nebo nevím, co ještě jiného bych se tam na to mohl podívat. Čus, čus, dejte like, odběr, follow na Instagram. Ahoj.